Today, we're tackling one of the most frustrating realities of any grid-down scenario. Every single useful machine decided to become a locked metal box the moment the power went out. Think about it. Vending machines, locked; storage units, electronic keypad, now a decorative rectangle; office supply cabinets, magnetically sealed and smugly silent. That server rack with all the useful cables inside might as well be a tomb. See, modern convenience came with a price. We traded mechanical simplicity for electronic locks, solenoids, and magnetic releases. When electricity flowed, these systems were elegant. Now they're just obstacles with snacks inside. The good news is that these machines were designed to keep out casual thieves and impatient customers, not determined survivors with time, leverage, and absolutely nothing better to do on a Tuesday afternoon in the wasteland. So today, we're going to walk through the art and science of opening locked machines without power. We'll cover improvised tools, weak point identification, and the physics of I really want what's inside this thing. Let's get started. Before we touch any machine, let's talk about your toolkit. In a post-apocalyptic scenario, you're not walking into a hardware store. You're working with whatever you can scavenge, bend, or repurpose. First up, the pry bar. This is your best friend. Ideally, you want something flat, strong, and about 18 to 24 inches long. Tire irons work beautifully. So do the flat ends of certain gardening tools. In a pinch, a length of rebar with one end hammered flat will do the job. Next, wedges. These are your force multipliers. You can make them from hardwood, dense plastic, or even folded metal. The idea is to create something you can hammer or press into a gap to hold it open while you work. Old doorstops are perfect. So are chunks of wooden furniture legs. Now, for finer work, you'll want makeshift lockpicks. These aren't for electronic locks, obviously, but many machines have backup mechanical releases. Sturdy wire, like from a coat hanger, can be bent into basic pick shapes. Windshield wiper inserts have the right springiness. Bobby pins work in a pinch, though they bend fast and will absolutely betray you at the worst moment. For tension tools, you need something that can apply rotational pressure without snapping. Flathead screwdriver tips, bent Allen wrenches, or the metal clip from old clipboard mechanisms all work well. Finally, leverage bars. Different from pribbers, these are longer, about 3 to 4 feet, and meant for serious mechanical advantage. Pipe sections are ideal. This is your I've tried everything else tool. Gather your kit, sort it by size, and keep it close. You'll be rotating through these depending on what the machine throws at you. Now let's talk about reading your target. Every locked machine has weak points. Your job is to find them before you waste energy attacking the wrong spot. Vending machines are a great example. That big front panel, reinforced. The lock mechanism, hardened. But look at the sides and back. Older models have sheet metal panels held on by Phillips head screws. Some have removable service panels near the bottom. The coin mechanism area often has its own access point. Storage units with electronic keypads usually have a backup key cylinder somewhere, often hidden under a plastic cap or behind a small plate. If not, the door frame itself is your target. The latch mechanism needs to go somewhere, and that somewhere is usually a relatively thin metal housing. Office cabinets with magnetic locks are hilariously vulnerable. The magnet is strong, but the cabinet itself is often made of thin steel. A firm pry at the right corner can bend the frame just enough to release the catch. Don't fight the lock, fight the cabinet. Sealed tech enclosures like server racks or equipment housings look intimidating but are designed for ventilation, not security. Look for ventilation slots, removable panels, or anywhere the manufacturer needed access for maintenance. Those are your entry points. The universal rule is this: never attack the strongest point. Find the seam, find the fastener, find the shortcut. Work smarter, not harder, because in a survival scenario, your energy is a finite resource. Let's take a quick detour into physics, because understanding leverage will save you hours of frustration. Here's the simple version. The longer your lever, the more force you can apply with the same effort. This is why a 3-foot pipe will open things. A 6-inch pry bar won't budge. But length isn't everything. Fulcrum placement matters enormously. The fulcrum is the pivot point where your lever contacts the machine. Put it too close to where you're applying force, and you lose mechanical advantage. Put it too far, and you won't have enough travel to move anything. Ideally, you want your fulcrum as close to the resistance point as possible, while keeping your handle end as far away as practical. This maximizes the force translation. Also, direction matters. Prying straight out rarely works as well as prying at an angle. Sheet metal bends easier than it tears. Seams separate easier than solid panels puncture. Work with the material, not against it. One more thing, controlled force beats explosive force. Yanking hard might feel satisfying, but it's more likely to break your tool, hurt yourself, or send you stumbling backward into a pile of debris. Steady, increasing pressure lets you feel when something starts to give. Leverage is patience made physical. Respect it. All right, let's walk through an actual process. We'll use a classic scenario, an old vending machine, power dead, and you want what's inside. Step 1. Assessment. Walk around the entire machine. Look for service panels, screw heads, seams dents, rust spots, anything that suggests a weak point. Check the back and sides, especially. Take your time. Rushing this step costs you later. Step 2. Tool selection. Based on what you found, pick your starting tool. If there are visible screws, start with a screwdriver or a flat pry tip that can turn them. If there are seams, grab a thin pry bar and wedges. If the whole thing looks solid, you're going to need that long leverage bar eventually. Step 3. Initial entry attempt. Let's say you found a side panel with screws. Remove what you can. If the screws are rusted or stripped, don't force them. Sometimes pressing hard while turning helps. Sometimes you need to drill them out with a hand drill. Sometimes you just move to a different panel and come back later. And here's where it gets real. That screw you've been working on for 2 minutes. It finally starts turning. You feel victory approaching, and then the screwdriver slips out, and you punch yourself in the thigh. It happens. Shake it off. Try again. Step 4. Wedge insertion. Once you have any gap at all, even a millimeter, get a wedge in there. Hammer it gently if needed. The goal is to hold open what you've gained while you work on expanding it. Step 5. Progressive prying. With your wedge holding the gap, insert your pry bar further along the seam. Apply steady pressure. Feel for movement. When something starts to give, don't celebrate yet. Just insert another wedge to hold the new position. This is the rhythm. Pry, wedge, reposition. Pry, wedge, reposition. Each cycle gets you further in. Step 6. Tension management. As panels bend or separate, internal tension builds in the metal. Sometimes this releases suddenly. A panel might pop off with a loud bang and go skittering across the floor while you stand there. Heart pounding, feeling like you just won a very stupid lottery. This is normal. This is, in fact, progress. Step 7. Internal mechanism access. Once you're past the outer shell, you'll often find the actual locking mechanism is much simpler than the armored exterior suggested. Latches, bars, and catches that were impenetrable from outside can be easily disengaged from inside. Look for manual releases. Many machines have them for maintenance purposes. Step 8. The reveal. The panel swings open. The contents are exposed. Maybe it's snacks, maybe it's supplies, maybe it's a bunch of empty wrappers because someone got here before you. Either way, you did it, and there it is. The machine is open. The impossible metal box has surrendered its contents to your patience, your leverage, and your willingness to spend 45 minutes on something that would have taken 3 seconds with electricity. Take a moment. You've earned it. In a post-apocalyptic world, this skill is genuinely valuable. Every locked cabinet, every sealed unit, every dead electronic system is a potential resource cache. The people who can open them inherit the stored wealth of the old world. You're not breaking in. You're continuing the supply chain through alternative means. Plus, honestly, it's deeply satisfying. There's something primal about defeating a lock. Ancient humans didn't have vending machines, but they definitely had the same feeling when they cracked open a stubborn nut or pried apart a difficult shell. You're connected to your ancestors right now. They'd be proud, confused, but proud. So that's the complete guide to opening locked machines without power. Remember, assess before you attack. Choose the right tool for the weakness you've found, use leverage intelligently, and take your time. Practice on machines you have permission to open. Old, broken appliances, discarded equipment, anything you can get your hands on legally. The skills transfer. Every machine teaches you something about the next one. And remember, the apocalypse hasn't happened yet, so maybe don't practice on your neighbor's shed. That's just called a crime. Thanks for watching. If this helped you, leave a like. If you want more survival content that walks the line between educational and legally questionable, subscribe and hit that bell. This has been Probably Won't Kill You. Stay prepared, stay curious, and stay away from anything that's actually alarmed, because those backup batteries last longer than you'd think, and the sound is incredibly embarrassing. See you next time.